नमः ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन् इति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. So once again, I welcome you all to this Japa talk. So today's topic, I've chosen it to be the intensity of our prayers or intensity of our Japa. How to increase our intensity or of our Japa. कैसा हमारा वैराग्य जो है जप करने का वो कैसे हम इंक्रीज कर सकते हैं. तो इस ये होगा आज का टॉपिक. सो फॉर दिस आई हैव टेकन ए एग्जांपल ऑफ ए डिवोटी, द लाइफ ऑफ ए डिवोटी, a small story, condensed story of this devotee. So we all know the famous temple of Panduranga temple in Maharashtra. So Vittal Pandurang in Pandaripur, Panduranga's temple. So there is a nice, when we go to take the darshan of Lord Vittal or Panduranga. So before we enter into the sanctorium, just in the first step of the temple, we find a devotee actually kept there. That actually devotee's name is actually called as Chokkamela. So we take darshan of Chokkamela and then actually proceed towards the darshan of the Panduranga. So there is a nice story regarding Chokkamela with respect to our sadhana, how one can take example from him. So Chokkamela was a great devotee of the Lord. He was actually born in a very lower caste. वो बहुत उनका कुल जो नीच कुल में पैदा हुए थे, पर उनका भक्ति जो है भगवान का ऊपर वो बहुत ही ज्यादा था. तो वो भगवान का ऊपर बहुत सारा he was writing lot of song, he was singing for the Lord. Like everybody would get pleased just by hearing that song. But because he was born in a lower caste, क्योंकि वो नीच जाति में पैदा हुए थे, उनको भगवान की दर्शन नहीं मिल रहा था. So he was not allowed to enter into the sanctum of the Lord. But he was very curious to actually take the darshan of the Lord, and every time he will actually go and inquire with a priest, some or other priest, to actually asking them, inquiring them about taking the darshan of the Lord. But one day, one of the priests actually told him that he cannot allow him inside the sanctuary, but at least he can give some service to him to serve the Lord. And that service was to actually clean the campus of the temple, outside campus of the temple. So he was given that service, and Chokkamela very happily took that service, and he was actually offering that services to the Lord. So when he was doing this services, he was doing it with a lot of intensity, with a lot of love and devotion. So one day when he was actually doing his services in the campus of the Lord, outside the campus of the Lord, so suddenly he saw a bright light, actually bright effulgence. Effulgence actually उनको दिखा था, जो that was actually from inside the temple. And there was a small hole on the walls of the temple, and then from that hole he saw what was that bright light, and that was none other than the Supreme Lord himself, Panduranga, giving darshan to Chokkamela. So Chokkamela, just by seeing the Lord, he became so happy, having the darshan of the Lord, and Lord actually started interacting him, saying that I'm very hungry. Why don't you bring something for me? So immediately Chokkamela rushed to his home, and then actually वो घर अपना घर को जाके जो भी रोटी जो भी था वो लेके आके भगवान को दे रहा था. So he was actually putting all this foods inside this hole and then actually offering it to the Lord. So Lord was actually not only asking for roti, he was saying that whatever boga they are offering me doesn't have salt, you give me some charge thoda mirchi dena. So he was asking Chokkamela to bring all those things, and Chokkamela was bringing and giving all those things. He was actually putting it inside that small hole as an offering to the Lord. So So he was this thing was happening for a lot of days, and every day when the priest used to come the next day in the morning, they used to see that lot of this food items were actually being thrown inside to the sanctum. So they had a discussion like how these things are coming, like who is making this temple dirty by putting all these food items here. So one day they actually identified that it was actually Chokamela who was actually doing, instead of he cleaning the campus, he was actually coming and putting all these food items into it. And all the priests became very angry with this, and they actually pardoned him from that village itself, and he was sent out of that village. So when he was sent out of that village for some days, he was not there inside that village for some days. Then one devotee called Namdev actually came for the darshan of the Lord. So when he saw the Lord, he saw that Lord was actually not very happy. So Namdev actually used to meet this devotee Chokamela regularly and discuss about the pastimes of the Lord very intensively. And then he started looking for Chokamela. He was not he was not able to find Chokamela anywhere. उसे चौकामेला मिल नहीं रहा था, तो पूछने लगा कि कहाँ गया चौकामेला, किधर चले गए हैं। तो लोग बताते हैं कि ऐसा चौकामेला ने किया है, तो इसीलिए हमने उनको विलेज से बैन कर दिया है। तो इमीडिएटली नामदेव started saying that you don't know who is that, भक्त कौन है आपको सभी मालूम नहीं है, किधर है, किधर गए हैं, you have to immediately bring him to the Lord wants to see him immediately. So everybody started looking out for Chokamela, and even Namdev actually started looking out for Chokamela. And one day they came to know that Chokamela was working in some brick factory, and Namdev went in search of Chokamela to see if he's able to identify him. But then when he went to that place, he came to know that there was a big accident and a lot of stones actually fell on that workers. And Chokamela was also one of the workers there, and he actually died when the rock actually fell down on him. But still, Namdev wanted to see where his body was lying, and then at least take that portions of the body to the temple. Uh, so he was searching for it, and then when he was searching for it, he actually found one. Actually, from one stone, there was actually the names of the Lord coming. The song of the Lord actually coming. Vittala Vittala Panduranga Panduranga Vittala Vittala. So he was hearing this sound vibrations coming actually from one of the stones, and he was actually trying to look out, and all the people there started helping Namdev, and they actually took out all the stones one by one, and then actually saw that it was this song was actually coming from a bone. Hadiyan se aa rahi thi ye jab so they understood that this was actually the Chokamela's bone that was actually vibrating the names of the Lord. And then Namdev took this bones actually to the Lord's sanctum, and that's what we see at the Samadhi of the Chokamela that is actually there in Panduranga temple. So here we can see how how Chokamela, even though like he was not able to uh, take the darshan of the Lord or was able to serve the Lord directly, but the names he was chanting, even though he was barred from the temple, not able to see the Lord, still he was always meditating on the Lord. Even when he died, at that moment also he was actually chanting the names of Panduranga. And even after his death, like the bones were actually vibrating the names of the Lord. So that is the intensity that a devotee has in chanting, or taste that a devotee has in chanting the names of the Lord. And one doesn't have any bar with respect to caste, creed, and one's birth. So anybody who has intense desire to actually chant the names of the Lord, they can actually remember the Lord, and Lord will accordingly reciprocate to them. So similarly, we also have to increase our intensity in chanting the names of the Lord. We should not just chant the names of the Lord, but also with a one-pointed focus, try to hear the names of the Lord. And this names of the Lord has got all the potency to cure all the material contamination that is inside our heart. So once this contamination is cured, then we will get that taste of chanting the holy names of the Lord. I'll stop here in the interest of time. Thank you for your patient listening. Hare Krishna.
Puji, thank you for the